Hello, everybody. My name is Dani, and welcome to Realistic Intentionality, the podcast where we talk to amazing people and we get their thoughts, their ideas about how they live intentionally and true to their own perspectives and passions and all that fun stuff. You know how it goes. So today we have a special guest returning, gonna share all his new adventures, Oryah with WAV.MAX.
Yo, how you guys doing today? Glad to be back. Thank you for having me again.
Always. Anytime. Open door.
Yeah.
Consider us neighbors now.
At this point, yeah.
So tell me, dude, what has been new the past few months?
Yo, so a lot of new stuff. I have dreads now. That's like a thing.
They look cool. They look cool.
Thank you. You know, very on brand. I had them in the past a couple times, but I figured it just felt right as I was growing my hair out more, just to kind of bring it back to that, back to square one.
I know that there's a lot of like spiritual principle behind
that too, yes.
like the process of locking them up and then like keeping them and then cutting
versus
them.
cutting them.
Yes.
Yeah. And I definitely like both times when I did, because I had dreads at one point growing up. Well, actually from when I was like really like a baby, pretty much, and then because my dad was Rasta. And then when I turned like 14-ish, I cut them just on my own. But I also never had the choice in doing it until that point because I grew up Rasta, at that point. And then I got dreads back again when I was like, I want to say like 18 and whatnot. And then like, I don't know, during the pandemic, like, life was just like crazy. But that's like, pretty relatable for like a lot of people.
Yeah.
And like, there's no reason to like stay stuck on 2020. But during that time, I had cut those dreads though. Because of like just the, sometimes you gotta like reset, get rid of
you
like,
don't
want
to bring the 2020 vibes with you.
So you gotta cut that bad energy sometimes, and that was that, and now it just felt right, just in a new chapter of my life. Definitely feeling a lot more balanced since the last pod overall.
You were hoping to find some balance. That's what we were talking about last time.
And still finding it, because it might, I feel pretty balanced now. Maybe it'll go out of whack, and from there it's all about refining it, because that's just how it be sometimes.
Yeah, ebbs and flows. It's like if we don't get knocked out of balance, we can't figure out how to get back and how to readjust and like realign.
Yeah,
and that's important.
Yeah, and then from there, been working on a lot of music. I've been in the studio with Nate, Crazy, this year, which has been exciting because I didn't get to record a lot last year. In comparison, so far this year I've been very intentional about just like locking in, and like, even if I can't lock in like multiple times in a month, I can still make the times that I do longer and intentional. And it's been having some good results so far.
Now, speaking of balance and then working and locking in, how do you compartmentalize is the word, compartmentalize, where do you do a lot of your writing at home and then you're like, okay, done, gonna save it for the studio, or do you do a lot of it in studio, like day of?
So I do a lot of it at home, usually nowadays late at night, but definitely a lot of it at home. And then from there, anytime I get inspired, like usually, so like I could even be like on a drive, like for example, and then if something comes up, I might not obviously like write it all down like in the moment because I'm driving, but I'll like keep that or like record the voice note or something like that. And or sometimes I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, like the shower, like that's just always like you always just get like good ass ideas in the shower. So you're definitely, I might already be listening to some music anyways, so then I'm like, all right, let me just grab my phone, write this line real quick, hop back in the shower, like just little stuff like that.
Yeah, that's so that honestly is so true. When I was a kid, I used to like do interviews in the shower where I'd be imagining getting interviewed and like talking. And like now I do that, except for like interviewing other people. It's like, my shampoo bottles, they prepped me for this shit.
Hey, listen, sometimes it be like that. I feel like even like I never thought I would be rapping, but I was always making beats, so like it kind of like just fulfilled its own prophecy. At that point, so
you just filled it out. You were making these beats. When you were making beats, could you think of like bars or lines that
yeah, there's definitely stuff that I had written before. There's one verse, what song did I use it on? I have a song called Trouble at HQ. It's from like 2021. It's pretty old, really early on. And the verse itself, the second verse, I had wrote it back when I was like 17, like in high school. But
That's
it's like a
so
really good
cool.
verse. I was like, dang. I only ever showed one other person before, like at that time itself.
Yeah.
But yeah. Other than that though, like I don't know. I just never thought. To me, like at the time, I just thought like there were a lot of people trying to do it, and it was almost kind of like how it was presented for a lot of people was kind of corny in a way.
Yeah,
You know?
you know, there's some
Some of
cheesiness
it,
to
you
the,
know?
and which is like it's a shame because that is people's passions and creativity. But
Yeah.
like as an artist, I can acknowledge my own like cheese, you know, sometimes. So it's like
Sometimes, you know?
sometimes that's how it seems from the outside, and then when you get in, you realize the
Exactly.
mastery
Yeah,
within it.
like it's really all about the perception, because even then too, it's like that's how I looked at the time, but also I was like a teenager at the time, so like anybody I knew that was doing that, it's gonna look a type of way because they're also like teenagers.
Right.
Whereas like now, I mean, obviously being an adult, it's like still the same in a way, but kind of different. But
Yeah.
you know, that I think that definitely played a role. Whereas, you know, at the time being a producer, you're more in the background.
Right.
You know, so it's like, all right, yeah, you should still do the music stuff, and it probably would still help your brand to be forward facing, but there's no pressure on you to be forward facing as a producer.
Yeah.
You know, at that point. So.
Okay. That probably really set up a really incredible like foundation
Amazing.
for you.
No,
Yeah.
no, like that literally set up the perfect foundation for everything.
That's
honestly.
awesome.
Yeah, because a lot of other artists don't really have that type of experience, or like they probably started rapping or something first and then learned how to make beats to like help themselves, obviously.
Right.
But it's not too many. There are a lot of people that do it, but it's not like a whole lot of producers
No, I can
that
imagine.
then like, you know, do that transition.
Yeah, because it's you know, if you have a way with words, but then you try to translate it to music,
Yeah.
it's a tough gap to bridge. I write poetry, and I know I don't play any kind of instrumentation like really at all. I've tried, but it doesn't really happen for
Yeah.
me. But it's so hard to then like have my words, and I can kind of feel a flow. I can imagine it.
Yeah.
But then to translate it and then really lock it
Yeah,
in.
that's the hard part.
It's
That's
so
the hardest
difficult.
part, because like, and then sometimes I feel like people have the perception of like, oh, okay, like with artists, when they take a long time to work on something, it's like, oh man, like why are they being so lazy, or like, oh,
Yeah,
they
why
got,
are they
like,
holding out?
you know, or like, oh, they got too comfortable, they let the fame, but like maybe they just need the time and like the experience to actually think of how to express whatever experience they just had, like, you know,
Yes.
at that point.
Yeah,
know,
you
so,
can't force the creative flow.
Yeah.
You just can't. And like I have been dealing with that myself because I was grinding and grinding and grinding for the like opening months of this podcast and the
Yeah.
platform, and like TikTok and YouTube, and like I was also writing blog posts and doing it
You're doing a
all.
lot. No, honestly, like a lot.
Yeah,
Like,
it's so much. And then like I
Yeah.
realized I was losing presence in my life outside of my creativity, outside of my work. And by losing my connection to my life, I was losing inspiration.
Yeah. No, that makes
And
sense.
yeah,
That makes
and then
sense.
it totally just like clogged up the whole process of like, okay, I'm too busy working, trying to be creative, and then I'm not connecting to the things that make me want to be creative. Then I'm trying to work with no inspiration, no creativity. I'm tired, I'm drained. And it takes such self-awareness
Yeah.
to realize like, okay, I'm out of balance, I'm out of whack. Like,
Yeah.
how can I get back to the balance between creating and getting
Yeah.
inspired?
Well, you know what too, and something else that ties directly into that. Before I even mention anything else too, like I feel like one of the ways that does help with music, sometimes I've noticed that you can usually hear it when it gets to that point. And from there it's like, okay, maybe I just need to kind of like chill. Or if it's like a song that like you're trying to record, it's not coming through, it's like, all right, maybe I just need to take a break from this, come back to it,
Right.
you know, potentially, because you can never force it, but like sometimes it just might not be the right timing,
Right.
you know.
You just like hear your project and you're like, the project is like, bro, this isn't
Like
happening.
I just sound like there's some songs where like I can't pinpoint like specific points of time, but just like old stuff I've recorded, and I was like, oh, I can hear like me being burnt out in the song. Like
Yeah.
it just comes out naturally in the song itself, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah.
That's the cool
you know.
thing about art, is even though it sometimes feels so outside of us, it is purely just us vomited onto something.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
that is that artist on a painting. This is
Like
that
literally.
artist in the song, and you can just see it. And it's like so many artists will try to like remove themselves from their art, and it's like no, 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 baby, you're losing the magic.
Yeah.
It's you in the art that
Yeah.
is really what makes it an expression that people haven't seen before,
Exactly.
or like
Exactly.
experience in a way that they also feel.
Yeah, and you know what too? So that's why. So like with a lot of the newer music now, right? With since the last pod, I've been doing a lot more of the acoustic stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like even with that too, like a lot of it, at least like the way I'm trying to brand it, you know, acoustic rap, just you know that authentic type of expression over, you know, a nice guitar melody, and from there, you know, I think one of the key things I'm trying to do with it, and that's why I do like the difference between both the songs I have, Long Nights, and then the MMORPG song. The Long Nights one, I wrote that one a long time ago. I wrote that probably like end of 2021 ish or whatnot, and like that one's probably seen like a lot of different types of beats. Like I tried
like
to
variations.
a lot of like so many different variations of that song just like in my phone, like
And you couldn't pin it down.
I couldn't pin it down, and some of them aren't even like bad, but it just wasn't. They just weren't it.
Yeah, it
you know,
wasn't
they just
it.
weren't it. But
Nope.
that, I don't know, something about that guitar melody, like it just fit perfect. It just made sense. And that one's kind of darker because of just where I was at the time. Whereas the MMO one is not really, because that one's definitely more recent. I want to say maybe if not last year, 2023.
Yeah.
But even that one, it's like it's not really a dark song as much as it is just something to think about, and that's the things that
like
we
an
all kind of
awareness.
think about. Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
And it's not like necessarily trying to give. I'm not necessarily trying to give you an answer or anything like that either. More so, just you know, just something to relate to if you do, if you can relate to it, and something to think about if you haven't thought about it.
Yeah, and you know, I thoroughly enjoyed listening to it with your Yaman the Shaman episode.
Thank you.
Wasn't that episode 4, I believe?
That was episode 4. Yeah, episode 4. Yeah, and it's crazy too because I know we were talking about that a little bit last time.
I think only episode 1 was out.
Only episode 1. Yeah.
So.
It's been pretty cool. That's been something fun. It's something honestly. I'm really glad that I started doing that with Arnate, the animator for the series. It's something that's been keeping me very inspired. Not that I haven't been, but it's just like a different approach, and it's been really refreshing, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, there is something really powerful with their animation combined, especially with these 2 tracks that are so acoustically kind of more stripped down.
Yeah.
And it adds like an element to them that enhances the sound, enhances the vibe and the atmosphere that they create. And especially the story itself with Yaman kind of like going through these various explorations, whether he's hopping on a plane with someone or he's trying to dig himself away from all of this overwhelming presence of media and people and expectations and all this like digital expectation.
Yeah.
You know, it's like he is on his own journey of exploration, and then your music is so much of a reflection of your own pursuit. And so it's very cool. It's a very cool blend.
Yeah.
What do you think the future for Yaman the Shaman might be? Where are you hoping he goes?
So, and you know what too? I think Yaman has also been a fun series because while I do have it planned out, a lot of it's also made in real time, and I'm actively doing each of the, like I have Arnate actually creating the animations themselves, but I'm actively writing the scripts for all of them. And from there, like, you know, I'll use the lyrics to help make the story, but to an extent, like, and you probably noticed, it's not like a music video where it's like the visuals are directly just following the song, as much as the song is just an accompaniment to the story itself.
Yeah, and like the energy of the story.
And the energy of the story, but then still kind of tying in certain points, and that's where Arnate also does a great job, like on their end. But you know, it's been really fun, honestly. I'd say the future, I want to do definitely a couple more before the year ends for sure. That's definitely in the works, and then from there, trying to plot out, because that'll be season 1, and I'll probably end off that and just kind of start getting things prepped for season 2, because I think I want to definitely take it I want to scale it up season 2, and I definitely want to have everything even more prepared than I did this time around.
Okay.
Yeah, based off the results, because obviously, you're trying something new. You don't want to necessarily like dive all into it, and then like
Right.
God forbid it doesn't even like do well.
Right, put all your eggs in a basket,
Yeah.
and then kind of realize like, okay, wait, actually, this isn't the
Yeah.
basket I'm trying to have my eggs be in right now.
And
Yeah.
I love eggs, so
Yeah.
hey.
I've been big on eggs recently.
Yeah.
If we want to get into egg talk, I'm ready to talk about eggs.
Yeah.
I thought I was allergic my whole life, and I like,
Really?
yes,
What?
yes,
What?
and I think I technically was like, I did have allergic reactions. And then I was like, you know what? After being vegan for so many years, I was like, I kind of want to try eggs. Dude,
Just to try it,
veganism changed my like internal chemistry where now I'm not allergic to eggs.
That's kind of cool though. That's actually kind of cool.
I'm with it. I'm enjoying a good hard boil.
Yeah. I know. So my partner this morning, she had did some scrambled, but it was like, I don't even know how to describe it. But I don't know. It was some really good scrambled
Like
eggs.
some gourmet, like Gordon Ramsay type scrambled.
Like I don't even have the like y'all saw in real time. I don't even have the words to describe these eggs.
There's a lot of fancy like scrambly type eggs. I see people with chopsticks and they like swirl it and they like.
Yes.
And
yes.
it's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I burn to the pan every time. But I'm new. I'm new to eggs, guys.
That's so fascinating. That's so fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Listen. Like, we could have a whole podcast.
Yo,
on
comment
eggs.
your favorite breakfast. To be honest, I'm very curious actually. If you see this, comment your favorite breakfast right now.
Right now
Right
in the
now.
comments.
Like,
And
yeah.
also, double up. What's your favorite form of egg?
Yo, what's your favorite? Yes. Scrambled, fried, soft boiled, hard boiled.
Benedict?
Omelet, Benedict,
Poached?
poached,
Is fried? Or did you say fried?
I might have said fried.
Is dippy? Sunny side up? I don't know.
All
I'm
of the
new
above.
to this world.
Yeah. but yeah. So,
Yaman should eat an egg.
Hey, episode 5,
He could hatch out of an egg.
episode 6.
He could also have really good thoughts in the shower. He could go on a whole shower exploration through his thoughts. We've already got it down. We'll write the script.
Yeah. But you know what too? And I was thinking about this. Something you said earlier. Still on topic, kind of off topic, but still on topic too. I do like that you also acknowledge, because I do try to make it with Yaman. Like obviously, it's me creating it, and like they're my songs, so it's gonna have like personal anecdotes in there.
Yeah.
But I do still want it to be something that is very much like its own thing, versus it being like a.
It's not it's not an autobiography.
You know,
it's its own being.
He's just a guy that goes on some journeys.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just a vibe, and and I'm happy that everybody so far has been like enjoying being along the ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do you anticipate Yaman having a lot more friends and interactions and a bigger crowd? Are there gonna be reoccurring characters?
I think that could be kind of cool. I thought about having, and I'm only comfortable saying it now just because it definitely probably wouldn't happen till down the. Actually, I don't know.
I don't know. I might have trapped you. The lion was a recurring character.
The line was a reoccurring. That's what. That's cool that you noticed that actually. Yeah, the line was reoccurring. You know what's crazy? I have so I'm not gonna give any. I'm not gonna give any full details.
Almost got you guys.
I do have I will say this though. I did have an idea for an episode where there was a different character it was centered around. And that's all I'm gonna say.
You know what? I love when anime does that.
Yeah.
I love when anything does that. Or like, I love when a show will like take like a background character that
and
is
then,
usually make it their like main. Maybe the lion.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like it builds the world.
Yes.
It builds the world.
Well, yeah, and I think it connects to the sense that like we are born into our bodies and our perspective, and so we're so used to being us, being the central focus of our everything.
Yeah.
And when you do take the moment to remember, like, oh, everyone has that point of awareness centered around them. Every single person has a whole world of lore.
And we all experience
passions.
life differently.
Yes. And we all see it differently, but that's the same thing, is that we all are in that awareness. And it's like, to remind yourself of that, it's so cool. And like, yeah, I love when any kind of series kind of gets into that and gets into like an NPC too.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Okay, that sounds exciting.
So a lot of Yaman, and then again, I've definitely been working because obviously the past 2 episodes it has been the acoustic jams. Definitely some more acoustic stuff in the works. I think I got a couple songs in the tuck. I wasn't sure if I was gonna do a project, but this is definitely like an exclusive here first. I probably am working on some form of one potentially.
Oh,
I
like an
think,
acoustic,
yeah, like a little something,
maybe a little something.
just to kind of help put the stamp on it, because it really is a sound that I'm trying to kind of push and pioneer.
Do you feel like that's where your soul is leading you, or are you just kind of like having fun with it? Like, do you think this is going to be a major cornerstone in your life, or are you just exploring?
I think I'm actually really happy you asked that question. That's actually that's an amazing question because I would say my answer is probably a tiny bit of both in the sense
Okay.
when I started dabbling with it, it was definitely for fun. But I've always been consistently trying to kind of not necessarily find a signature sound, but kind of like maybe create a firm basis of sound
Yeah.
per se. And I wouldn't even say, if the acoustic stuff is it, the time will tell.
Yeah.
But it's something that I discovered, and I remember, I want to say probably around like September, the first time I ever tried to kind of like write to that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
In my head, it sounded good, but you never know. Like sometimes when you're making a song, and I'm sure other artists that are listening probably can relate. Like if you're not in the studio itself, like you can write the song and perform it yourself, but like at least for me specifically, it's gonna sound a little different in my head versus how it actually sounds in the microphone.
Right.
So there's definitely been a lot of times where it's like, okay, yeah, I wrote this thing, I think it's about to be fire. I pull up on Nate, and then it's like, oh man, what the fuck was I thinking? And that's how you get. That's how you get like long nights where there's like maybe like 6 different versions of that
Right.
song, but like it just landed on the acoustic one.
Do you ever cook up a song and first try, first hit, it's like exactly what you think?
Oh yeah, no,
Okay.
yeah, nah,
Okay.
definitely, yeah.
That's cool.
Because honestly, like, I would say. Well, actually, yeah. No, I was trying to think of an example, but all of the acoustic ones so far, like I've always kind of take the approach of like, oh yeah, let me just kind of try this and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But those ones so far, it usually works each time. Like
Wow.
honestly,
See, that is interesting because
yeah,
we were just talking about how sometimes it's hard to get this out.
yeah,
And like that is interesting that you are finding that flow to be more of an effortless transmission.
yeah. Well, you know what too? I think maybe also with the frequencies as well, and just my like how deep my voice is, it does tend to fit well because also prior to the acoustic stuff, I feel like whenever I would do like just like the drumless beats, I feel like it was like the same thing where maybe my voice just kind of fills in the bass or something
Yeah.
like that. I don't know, but it
That
usually
sounds right. That sounds sciencey.
it usually works a
Yeah.
lot of times. So that's been really fun. And I would say too why I say a little bit of the fun and maybe a little bit from the soul because it definitely feels like something I'm tapping into because of how effortless it feels. So I don't want to necessarily ignore that. Like it's definitely something I want to explore more
Yeah.
of. But in the meantime, though, too, like I have been recording a lot of acoustic stuff. I have still been doing a lot of other things, too. I just did recently, and maybe it'll be out, maybe it won't by the time this is recorded. But I just did a song with the producer I know from back up in the Poconos. It's definitely like a more traditional hip hop track,
Okay.
but it's been pretty. That one's pretty nice. I like the flow on that one a lot, and still just kind of exploring different sounds still. Like
Yeah.
honestly, still exploring different stuff.
I think that your voice and the emotions that you put to your like music is so distinct that you can play around with all these other elements
Thank you.
while still holding on to that authentic Oryah type vibe, And that's
Yeah.
good. That's that shows that you're offering something potent enough of yourself that you can, do all these acoustic projects, do all these different beats and producers and styles and and play around with it, but not losing your essence.
That's the goal. That's the goal. And shout out to that producer, Big Mitch. I got shout out the producer himself, Big
Yeah.
Mitch. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Shout out.
Yeah, and even the acoustic ones so far, a lot of the ones I've been doing, shout out this dude Z Beats, yo. He's actually
Okay.
pretty dope. He's a pretty cool guy. And I think he just literally plays everything himself.
That
Like,
is so dope.
Yeah. So it's
Ugh.
just like it's like a nice, finding, like, even going back to the previous episode, like, definitely still trying to be collaborative in different ways.
Yeah.
Like, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We did talk about like collaboration and just how essential it is for the process. And that's cool that you're still really holding on to that and exploring all these different people and styles. And like, do you have a dream collaborator or a collaboration that you would like to do? And that's a big one, right?
No, it's a good question. I would say, so it can be anyone.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So I would say I would love to work with Pierre Bourne. I've always said that, actually.
Okay.
I like, yeah,
Well,
his production. He's one of my favorite producers. I think he's very innovative, at least specifically for the time of when he came out. And I just like his beats a lot. They remind me of my childhood. Just like, I don't know. He has like a very like retro Nintendo-y kind of sound. He uses like a lot of sine waves and stuff. So it's just very, I don't know. I hear his beats sometimes. I just think about like Pokemon and shit.
dude,
like,
honestly, anything that has retro or Nintendo, I'm like sold.
yeah,
honestly.
So I'd love to work with him. Matter of fact, I have this one remix of one of his songs. He has a song called "For You." And back early, this is like early on when I first started. I had this remix of that song called "High Five," and it was pretty dope at the time. And it was actually one of my most popular songs. I think probably because of it being a remix.
Right.
But I was very naive at the time. Bad business on my end. Like, I had it. Like, it was one of those things where I was doing the remix, not thinking about any type of like legal stuff, any type of any of that stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
So eventually, the song, over the years, as it kept getting streams, got taken down. Understandably, I didn't fight it for obvious reasons.
Right.
So I'm hoping that relationship isn't burned. Like, Pierre, if you do hear this, I'm hoping that's not like.
Dude, he probably was like, yo, this is good. We should take it down.
No, but like honestly, like in hindsight though, like I'm not gonna blame it on me being young, because I feel like I still knew better. And if he was upset, like, it is what it is. You know, at that point, because that's like, at the end of the day, that's
hard.
his material.
It's a blurred line because there are like remixes popularized, and like, they don't hand us a pamphlet. Like, we get taught copyright in like library in school, but it's like always about, like, don't rip off some episode of a show and put it on YouTube.
And that's even if you learn about that, because I feel like there's probably even some schools that don't even like,
yeah, and it's like, who knows anything? Like, parodies are allowed, covers are kind of allowed sometimes. So it's like with remixes and stuff, there's so much gray area. It's like, I don't know, you might have to play around and reopen that.
We'll see what's up, yo. We'll see what's up. But I'm definitely, Pierre, if you do hear this, hey, let's make amends, and I'm down to collab. I'm definitely down to collab, But that's like probably like my most like out there collaboration. I think right now, there's no one. I don't think there's anyone specific right now. But I'm definitely open to it if the right song or artist makes sense. Like, I would say, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Have you like traveled around a lot to do different like musical projects where you have met a lot of people in the industry, or would you say your pool's still pretty local?
I would say for collaborators, pretty local. I don't really branch out, because I also don't really do a lot of features my own self. So it'll usually be people reaching out to me, and then from there, like, usually if I see somebody in person a lot, like, it's kind of easier to get that feature from me, at that point.
Yeah.
But I've definitely met a lot of different people who traveling around, performing and just networking, like, whether it was like, I did this little mini tour in Atlanta back like 2021. That was pretty dope.
Cool. I've heard Atlanta like pops off.
I love
like,
Atlanta. That place is fire.
Yeah.
I got a lot of family out that way.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that was pretty dope. And then just like even little other things. Actually, yeah, too. Even outside of like performances, like, because I've recently been going to a lot of conferences. More so on the WAV.MAX side of things, but still just kind of like, music industry related, and kind of like meeting people there.
Interesting. So, speaking of WAV.MAX and conferences, what's going on with WAV.MAX?
Yo, WAV.MAX. Since the last episode, WAV.MAX is crazy. I'm not gonna lie, WAV.MAX is crazy. I think that's something too that's also been helping me on the music end creatively too. Like
Mm-hmm.
having something like with WAV.MAX being such a solid foundation,
Mm-hmm.
I can. That's something that it's always there. I can rely on and build on
Right.
while just still being able to focus on my own art.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, been doing a lot of different scaling. I would say a lot of
Oh.
different scaling. And the network has been great, honestly. The network has been great so far with WAV.MAX. Yeah,
Wow.
working with a lot of different artists, especially this summer, it's been popping off. Um, Still available at www.thewavmax.com. And from there, yeah, everything's been going pretty smooth. I'm thinking about definitely doing some live events of some
Oh,
sort, yeah, in the
that
future.
would be cool.
Yeah, that's something that I've been planning. I feel comfortable saying it now. It's something that I've thought about since maybe last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm definitely probably gonna move forward with that pretty soon. So I'm
Ooh.
thinking, not gonna say too many details, but definitely if I can, probably like starting next year, start having that be a thing, where I can host different types of events
Is
too.
that something you've always wanted to do, where you kind of escape the digital realm and then get more in the forefront of the physical? Is that something that you've always been called to do?
I would, you know what? I wouldn't even say called, but it's something that always piqued my interest when I myself, like as an artist, would even perform at different spots and just seeing like how different places run it or how like a company runs their concert versus how like a local artist that's throwing a concert will run their concert and just seeing different business things on that end.
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing also too just the community aspect of it as well. Because I am still big on the community element of things. I'm trying to build that, and
Mm-hmm.
the digital stuff does work, but you can't replace that in-person connection. Too.
Right.
So definitely want to build upon that and make that maybe not like a primary part of WaveMax, but just like another thing to help just kind of foster that
Yeah.
community.
Another little like branch of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so like even if it's like little stuff like it's so hard because I don't want to like give too much away.
Divulge.
Yeah, like something like this is like maybe like a very basic idea, but just
Okay.
like an open mic, like like stuff like
Oh,
that. It's very
yes.
very like community centric
I love
things.
open mics.
Not something where like I'm trying to just like you know not something where I'm just trying to like get people in the door or just like get people's
Right.
pockets or like sell somebody a
Yeah,
dream.
get some follows.
You
It's not
know,
about that. It's more
yeah,
about fostering the connections
exactly.
and also like nourishing a third space, right? Because people always
Yeah,
say they
yeah.
need
I
that
mean, that
third
third space,
space.
yeah.
You can't just be at home and you can't just be at work. There needs to be
That
some
third
sort of
space.
third space element
Yeah.
of of an environment that nurtures you and that you
Seriously.
can meet new people, but also have a steady community of people that you do know and trust and can enjoy life with.
Yeah, especially if you can fine tune it to people that are both passionate about like hip hop and R&B, but then also anime, like that specific niche, and then
Yeah.
kind of bringing them together.
Yeah, that's good. You'll be set. I'm excited to see the things that are
Yeah, a lot
to
of
come.
plans. Obviously, again, like I don't want to jinx anything, but everything I've said so far this episode is stuff that I'm definitely pretty confident.
Right.
In, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
with I can say very confidently, if you wanted to set up an open mic next week, you would be fine to do so. So I cannot wait to see all of the scaling up that WaveMax is doing. Now, what are you hoping? Now, I know that you said you're also hoping to go into the live spectrum, but what about the website itself? Are there any kind of new elements you're playing around with, or?
That's interesting, actually. I've been playing around with some ideas in my head. I'm trying to think of a good time to implement one specific one that I have. Just kind of like making sure that the current interface is still running smooth, and
Right.
then also I'm gonna start integrating a lot of different third party not applications, but just like little stuff.
Yeah, like widgets and stuff.
Like little things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think too, this might kind of tie into the website. I'm thinking about maybe starting to do some playlisting and curating as well.
Ooh.
Down the line. I think I definitely want to have a team for that though.
Yeah.
I definitely want to have a team for that though. You know, that's like the one thing, but that's definitely a plan. Like, it's
Yeah.
definitely an idea though.
In this digital era, especially with your newer song, where Call Me Crazy or Don't Call Me at All, where it does touch on the battles in this modern digital era, I was kind of like curious. I was like, I wonder what he's feeling up
Yeah,
in.
you know, I think so I know too, even with that song, a lot of the lyrics just kind of, I want it to be very relatable in that sense too, with the new song. And from there, you know, just certain lines, like how you said, you know, the call me crazy, don't call me again. Like, I feel like that feeling itself, isolated to what we're talking about, you can still apply that to other things and it still works. But in the context of what we're talking about, in the world the way it is now, like, you know, especially if you are very isolated and you're not around people as much and you don't really have as many reasons to be outside around people.
Yeah.
And maybe you are alone a lot more and you might be questioning certain things. And sometimes you might feel crazy,
Yeah.
you know, and you might not be actually crazy, but at the same time, you also might not want to deal with anybody that doesn't understand that
Right.
either, too, you know. So I don't know, it's weird. Like, you know, that connection can definitely help you not put, like, that connection can help you not be in that situation, but at the same time, you know, you gotta have the right connections that'll understand your mind in the first place,
Right.
Because some people are okay with a lot of things going on right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard, you know, because it is like you have to walk a balance of awareness
Yeah.
of what's happening and just like everything. Well, whether it's like politics or like social issues or like technology, environmental, whatever, you have to be aware, but you can't
Yeah.
let it just completely
You can't.
plague you.
You can't.
And it will weigh on you so badly, and so you have to find that balance and like that really that line of like, I can be aware, but I can also use that awareness to empower and better myself and others.
Yeah.
And like nourish connection and nourish some sort of healthy outlook, you know, because I have been watching just, it's hard, you know, especially as we're getting older.
There's, you know, it's just like, it's, yeah, I mean, you just see different, it's just like a different headline every day. Like, it's just kind of crazy, you know, but there's also probably like a lot, like, and that's the thing too, where like even tying back to the balance, like, because there is a lot of cool shit happening in the world too, that balances it out. We might not always see it, and that's why too, even you know, the one line on this song, I know they want to control you, the news keeps showing all the lies again.
Yep.
Because some of that shit might not even be like as factually, like as
Right.
accurate as it's being reported, but
Yeah.
also, even with all the like the negative news, in spite of that, there's still a lot of positive things that might not get the same amount of limelight.
Yeah.
Too, not that it balances out, because like one doesn't take away from the other, but you know, it'd be nice too if a lot more programming kind of had that balance with things. I
Right.
would say.
Oh yeah,
You
even
know?
when I'm like consuming content, again, like it's hard to find that balance and like to find inspiration. And it's like I actually just told my partner this. I was like, you can't clear your mind by filling it with more shit. And so it's like a lot of times I'll like go for inspiration and I'll go for like, you know, relaxation by scrolling on the phone, and then I'm seeing headline, weird video, something I don't like, something I do like, and it's
Yeah.
like a fucking emotional roller coaster. And it's like, why am I thinking this is what regulates me? Why am I going to pull out my phone or to do this shit when, because I want the downtime, I want to relax.
Right, yeah.
But
right,
it's like
yeah,
not
yeah.
even, it's not even a vibe. And it's like, yeah, just go outside, like go nourish something creative, nourish a relationship.
Yeah, I was playing some badminton yesterday.
Badminton.
That shit was fire.
Yo, I
Yeah,
just
that
got
shit is fire.
I got tennis rackets and I just played tennis for the first
That's
time.
fire. Yeah.
It was dope.
Yeah.
It was dope, dude. Hell yeah. What are some activities you're looking forward to?
Definitely more badminton. Definitely
Yeah,
more badminton.
all right.
Nah, but definitely that though. Hiking. I like hiking.
Yes.
Definitely a lot more hiking. I'm about to actually go camping for the first time.
Ooh, you've never been camping?
I've never been camping, yeah. And honestly too, like I feel like a lot of people that maybe know me personally that might be watching this, definitely like I feel like I've always been tapped in with like nature and shit, but more of like from an observer perspective.
Right.
But I've recently, like, I do like doing a lot of like hiking and trails and like,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I'm trying to reconnect to that too, because
Yeah.
living in Florida, Florida's gorgeous,
Yeah.
but they don't have a lot of preserved nature.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like they have
Yeah.
the Everglades, and they do have like a national park and like forest, but amongst it's commercialized.
That makes
It's a
sense,
tourist
yeah.
place, so it's all just like restaurants, hotels, gift shops, shit like that. And so I was like, when I move back to Pennsylvania, I want to hike, I want to go camping, I want to like connect with nature and like actually have this relationship with it.
Yeah.
Because that is our mother. That is what fuels us. And that is, I think, as creatives and as artists, we need to connect to the root of all creation.
Oh yeah.
Which
No,
is
definitely.
nature.
Yeah.
Because if we are going to create, then we must look at the absolute godliest model of creation, which is nature.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
like
agree.
so much inspiration to get pulled by from it, like I can't even like I just want to I haven't done it in a while, but the idea of like doing some mushrooms and looking up to the stars and like meditating and connecting
And just connecting. Like,
dude,
yeah.
oh my god, I crave it, and I feel like it's in our genetics to crave that. So congratulations on planning a camping trip.
Yo, thank you. Yeah, I'm very excited. I would say, so outside of that, probably like a little bit more traveling too.
Okay.
But outside of that, yeah, just like a pretty vibey. I can't even really say vibey because honestly, I feel like I just work 24/7
Right.
all the time.
Oh yeah.
But probably like vibe in the midst of the work.
Yeah.
Vibe in the midst of the work.
Well, are you gonna unplug for your camping trip?
For the camping trip, probably, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So just cause like it just makes sense, and also it just makes it easier on me versus having to worry about both.
Right.
You know.
Right. Now, for your acoustic music, do you play your own guitar parts or?
So you know what, I don't. I give all the credit to my guy Z Beats for that. But I do know a little bit of guitar though.
That'd be kind of fun
Yeah.
if you brought a guitar with you to the woods.
That would be kind of
and,
cool.
Kind of
Yeah.
tap into it, tap into that old school nature, like the wooden guitar, the like beautiful birds.
Oh no,
and the
I've definitely
chirping.
thought about that. I've definitely thought about
That
that.
would be
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So I got a lot of plans. I like the acoustic stuff, and even just like how you said the aesthetic and vibe, like all of that. I definitely want to lean into this year, like just to have it be its thing. Acoustic rap is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm definitely here to just kind of like stamp that
Yes,
as its own thing.
it is a
And
thing.
Pennsylvania needs its own thing, especially
Yes.
like with it not like I'm not from Philly, so like
Mm-hmm.
I can't really. And I do like that style of music, but I can't really like lay my
You can't
claim
claim
to
it,
that
right.
style, truly.
Yeah.
And I was born in New York, so I feel like I already tap heavily into my New York style of things.
Right.
But I spent a lot of time in the Poconos, and I feel like the acoustic stuff also kind of ties a little bit in
Yeah.
a way to that region.
Yeah, the
And
folk
it feels very
kind
fitting at
of,
least, kind of.
yes. Yeah.
So just kind of mixing both of those, and even on the song itself, like my new song, I acknowledge being born in Brooklyn, but still like I'm out here, I do whatever I need to do, and I've traveled a lot, but that's still where I was born and raised at the end of the day. So,
Right.
and a lot of those characteristics, like I would say I'm for the most part, because it's been like a couple years since I've been out there up that way. I'm actually probably gonna go back to like even just like certain things. I'm very much on the go whenever I am out and about. I'm not really like at least as far as like if you're ever in New York, like
Right.
if you're on, Manhattan's very typical, but anywhere you go, like people are on the go, and if you're walking slow, like you're just in everybody's way. Like at that
Yeah.
point, like, you gotta go.
People are not gonna like me there.
Yeah, or it's like
I
like
stay looking at things and like taking pictures. I know I'll piss everyone off.
yeah, or just like little other little quirks that
Yeah.
like don't really go away.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
and that's really cool that you make it an intention to incorporate all of that into your process and into your being, like recognizing your roots, recognizing where you're growing up, and trying to figure out a perfect blend to really bring that all together. That is
Yeah.
really beautiful to do, because I really do think reflection of self is one of the most important things to do in this life.
I agree.
And like
I agree.
you are making an art out of your reflection, and that is truly that is a remarkable thing to do.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, I firmly believe. I had a friend ask me what I believe the future of art is.
Yeah.
and he's actually just starting a podcast. I will plug him very
okay,
soon.
okay.
I'm so proud of him. But he asked me that, and he said that he plans on asking all his guests that. And I said, I think the future of art is us recognizing that the way we live life is the art itself.
Yes. I agree with that.
Yes.
I agree with that.
It's not just about what we put to paper. It's not just what we upload. It is about how we embody the whole process. The process.
Wow, that's like a great way to summarize that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, and it's, I struggled my entire life trying to fit all of my artistic, creative ideas into boxes of what am I? Am I a painter, a photographer, a video creator, a costume designer, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, my life is the art.
Yeah, exactly. There's art in all of it.
Yes.
At that point. There's a question I used to always ask artists when I would do the interviews. There's their take on whether or not art mocks life or if life mocks art. I used to always ask people that just to kind of see like, pick somebody's brain or whatever. But really, like, what is the actual answer? Who knows?
What do you think? What do you?
I think it's a little bit, and this is like a cop out. I don't mean for it to be a cop out. I think it is like a little bit of both, depending on what it is. Because sometimes I feel like I flip flop. I honestly flip flop.
Right.
Like there's some shit that happens where I'm like, damn, like. Life just has a way of doing that. You know? And then there's other times where I'm like, okay, life just happened. Damn, what do I make about that?
Right. Right. Well, no, I agree with you because it's like life expresses itself.
Yeah.
And then we pull from that expression. And so either way, whether life is mocking art or art is mocking life, they are one of the same. They're the expressions, right? And how we look at art or how we listen to art or how we perceive it is an expression.
That's why I like that initial damn. It's like there's nothing else that needs to be said after that. That was the expression itself. Some things it's like, okay, yeah, now I need to, like, there's a different way that could be expressed. Like, let me find a way to do that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's the fun. That's the fun. That's the creativity. That's the playing with it. Is playing with the expressions of life. And that's where we can't limit ourselves. And like that's why I really admire how you are playing with like the acoustic but then still playing with the different styles of like the typical hip-hop, because you are allowing yourself to play in that creative space and like express yourself, and that is the fun part. That's the part that's
the fun part.
People get locked into like what they expect from themselves, and like we are guilty of expecting certain things from our favorite artists.
Sometimes
But then it's like when we allow them to actually express and we allow ourselves to express ourselves without those limits, that's really like that is where artistry lays.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta let them cook.
Yeah, let them cook. Simple as that. Let them cook.
Yeah.
Amazing. So we know that you're playing around with some things with WAV.MAX. You got some good ideas for Yaman, the Shaman series. What are some other things that you are hoping to do?
Well, so I have a couple performance opportunities lined up so far, hoping more down the line.
That's awesome. Okay, so you're doing some live stuff.
Yeah, because I haven't performed. It's been like probably from today itself, maybe like a year since I've performed.
Oh, okay.
So it's been
You've been hustling,
I've been hustling, and like I don't know. There's something about. I think I just needed some new music to perform. I think that's what it was, because I think I got to a point where I was making a lot of slower material, which is nice, but sometimes that doesn't always translate well into the live performance, depending on like the venue itself. Like I've been performing, I feel like as of recent, at a lot of more low key, like I did like a couple at or I did one at like a book club like event, and like stuff like that. It's kind of like low key and whatnot. But then like obviously if it's like a club, like I'm not trying to do like long nights at a club, but but
everyone will be like sitting down like, whoa, okay.
Like, so that's where where new recording new music and recording different kinds of music comes into play, because now I do have some of those songs that maybe they're not out, but I can still perform those just because. This is one remix that I made recently. I don't know what I want to do with
Another
it.
Remix?
Another remix. I know, I should have learned my lesson. I have another remix. I don't know if I'm going to drop it or not, but I think I'm definitely going to perform it at both of those, like for sure. And yeah, just having fun with it. I'm hoping I can get something else lined up too, and kind of like go from there. And I'll definitely keep everything up to date, like with that.
Cool. I know. I really admire the fact that like you stay on your pages, you keep people posted, you let them know. Really admire that because I do not. And like I'm like, man,
It's hard.
You balance multiple platforms, and I'm just like, holy shit! And like, the dude is keeping up.
Yeah, I don't. Sometimes, I just be doing shit. I
Yeah,
just be doing
you
shit.
just be
Yeah.
doing shit.
I just be doing shit. I don't know how it happens, but I also am very meticulous, and I do know how it happens.
Yeah.
But it's like still.
Yeah. I know. Sometimes it's funny when you get in a flow, you're like, you look back and you're like, how did I get all that shit done within this, like, but in the moment when you do feel that creative flow and you kind of just already have the muscle memory to know to get it out, like pronto. Like, I'm reading a Rick Rubin book, The Creative Way.
I heard that was pretty good, actually.
I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
And it's an easy read, actually. So, yes, I am enjoying it. And he basically said that, like, when inspiration strikes, you drop what you're doing and you do it. Because, like, that is, if you push it off, it's not going to come in that way or form. And so you have to actually get it out.
Exactly.
The moment. And so, like, with you and all your things, you probably get all of these, like, oh, okay, I should do this, and you probably have the muscle memory locked in to know to do it then.
If you've seen the notes app in my phone, like, that's literally, like, it is all organized, too, because I tried to be really intentional about that. Like, I have, I have a folder for, like, just WAV.MAX shit, and a folder for just, like, my own shit, and a folder for just, like, it's all organized. I have a folder for just song lyrics, and then, like, in that one, there's individual folders of, like, unfinished ones, and then finished ones, and then finished ones that are released, but then ones that aren't, like, dude, so everything's, like, you know, very, my notes app is full of ideas, and, like, I really do try to, even if it's not something to build on right now, you just write it down, just in case, just in case, because there's definitely a lot of things I'm even doing right now that were just ideas, like, whether it's, like, the Yaman series, or just, like, other little things that were just ideas years ago that I wrote down, or, like, kept, and then from there just executed when it made sense. And, like, truly, I think that is how I personally would define success, is when you figure out the rhythm of your creativity and you utilize that and you understand it. Like, I'm still in a process of flailing around my creativity, trying to be like, do I like structure, do I like freedom, do I like this kind of thing? No, but you're good at it though.
I mean, it's because I'm actually doing now, and that's the most important part. Is, like, even if you haven't reached a level of, like, I'm not going to say you've reached mastery, because I'm sure you wouldn't.
Oh, there's still so much to learn.
But you have reached a level where you understand the systems you need to allow yourself to be creative, and that in itself is success. Is when you figure out what kind of things you need to thrive as a creative. And that's where I'm still at, where I'm still like, okay, do I need more sun today? Do I need more flower, like, watering today? Like, what's nourishing my creative garden?
You know what, though? I think that you may be closer than you think you are, though. That's what I would say.
I sure hope so.
Because you do a pretty good job. I'm not gonna lie, you do a really good job.
Thank you.
It's a good community. I like you guys. It's pretty nice.
Thanks. I know. I love my people. I got up to, I think I officially now have 4 5-star reviews.
Hell yeah.
On Spotify. Thank you guys for whoever's doing that.
Yes.
Thank you. I did not ask, so I'm, like, so grateful, because I always forget. I chronically forget about, like, analytics and, like, the like and subscribe of it all.
You should do all of that right now, to be honest.
All right, guys.
Like,
I am on all platforms. I am on TikTok. I am on YouTube. I am on Spotify. I'm on Facebook. Please look me up at Realistic Intentionality on all those things. Please follow. Please like. Please subscribe. I have something to offer for every kind of person, because every kind of person deserves to live the life that they exist for. So we are about to listen to one of your songs.
Yes, I'm very excited. It's a song I want to say I made it back at the start of this year.
All
right. It's a pretty nice one.
Let's hear it. This is a totally blind listen. I have not heard this. And like, I am an avid listener, so I'm excited. I love that. I love a good twinkly. Is that a ukulele or guitar?
A little ukulele, actually. Yeah.
I love that.
I've been up all night fighting with my demons, diving off the deep end. What do I believe in? Nothing that you saying, nothing that you speaking. All these niggas weak. Who do I compete with?
Why you always tweaking? Why you always tweaking?
Why you always tweaking? Why you always tweaking? Why you always tweaking? Why you always tweaking? Why you always tweaking?
All your shit is weak. We do not believe it.
God, look the way it's not a secret. I got the devil on my feet. I gotta stay away from people. Why do they always wanna link? I go to heaven if it's cheaper. I died and resurrected a genius. Nice God, but my flow the meanest. I got the devil on my feet. Walking on the blood of my people.
Never been equal.
You can be the leader of the sheep. I've been up all night fighting with my demons, diving off the deep end. What do I believe in? Nothing that you saying, nothing that you speaking. All these niggas weak. Who do I compete with? Why you always tweaking? 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 Why you always tweaking?
Oh shit.
And then, you know, I got a feature, you know, coming through for this part right here.
Dude.
And whatnot. It's a really good feature. I'm not even gonna say any names or anything like that, but it's a pretty important feature.
Oh my
God.
Yeah. Dude, these lyrics with this like twinkly little ukulele goes crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I did have a verse originally over this part, but I decided last minute like this would be a good feature. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I've been up all night
Fighting with my demons, diving off the deep end. What do I believe in?
nothing that you saying, nothing that you speaking. All these niggas weak.
Who do I compete with? Why you always tweaking? Why you always tweaking? Why you always tweaking? Why you always tweaking?
Why you always tweaking?
Why you always tweaking?
Why you always tweaking?
It's like a nice, you know, ride out.
Dude.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So you said this is a ukulele?
Yeah, a little ukulele.
I
you know.
love a good ukulele moment. And this is like something with like the little twinkliness of it.
It's fun. It's like a nice little, like obviously, you know, the lyrics are the lyrics, but it does have a nice fun vibe.
So yeah, let's
vibe.
get into that. Let's get into these lyrics. So you were talking about walking on the blood of your people. And so let's get into that a little bit, Oryah.
Yeah.
Well, what was the inspiration of this song first off?
So this one, I definitely wrote it. I want to say, you know what? Actually, I can even check in real time. 'Cause
Okay.
I want to say I wrote it sometime last year.
Dude.
I want to say I wrote it sometime last year, but I was definitely, regardless of when I wrote it, I was definitely in my bag, probably.
Right,
like, for sure,
yeah.
At the time, and it was definitely over much sadder instrumentation.
Okay.
Definitely over much sadder instrumentation. And then this one did evolve a little bit over time. Like, it didn't really bounce around too much.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually wrote this back June 10th, 2023.
Oh.
And you can actually see it, too.
Wow, wait, what's today's date?
Today is...
Today's June 8th.
Oh, shit. See, look, that wasn't even planned. That wasn't even planned. That's crazy. Yeah. But yeah.
2 years later. Now tell me, so you wrote it.
So I wrote it, yeah.
You didn't, when did you add the ukulele element?
So this... back probably like I think January.
Okay.
Actually no, I think I got the idea itself back December.
Okay.
But January I recorded it, and I actually recorded it the same day I made Long Nights.
Oh.
Yeah, I did it the same day I made Long Nights, and I was torn at the time between which one I should finish, because to me Long Nights, like in both of their like premature states, like before, like this definitely didn't even sound this good. But Long Nights was clearly the better one, so I was like, all right, let me finish this first and put this out 1st. But this one, I love listening to this one.
Dude,
this one's nice.
no, this one is so good. And honestly, like, Why You Always Tweaking, I could see that being like one of those viral sound bites because, like, so real. Okay, so you wrote it when you were kind of in your bag. Okay.
At the time, yeah, I might have, and I don't think it was anything major, but just like I think just like channeling the feeling itself into lyrics. At the time, and then from there, pretty straightforward in the beginning. Just I've been up all night fighting, and a lot of long nights, nights going on.
You even mentioned in a podcast that we did together how you tend to get a lot of your creative work done at night.
Yeah, so it's a lot of nights, So I've been up all night fighting with my demon, and I kind of wanted to from there. After I got the first 2 lines, I did want to keep up with like the biblical kind of themes,
right?
At least, so just kind of. Building off of there, but then still like using overall the lyrics a way to just kind of express the feelings itself.
So I have been up all night fighting with my demons, diving off the deep end. What do I believe in?
Yeah, and that itself just kind of tied, like the last line itself just kind of tying in with the again just like the religious theme of it, like we're already kind of like. It already starts off with like belief being in question at that point itself.
Yeah,
like
and it could even be symbolic of like, with the fighting with my demons is kind of like the symbolism of you are in the night, you are alone within yourself. Yeah. And then it's like, what do I believe in? It's like, how do I face this? What? And there's a lot of symbolism with religious context of demons and those beliefs, as in also internalization of facing ourselves.
Thank you. No, yes, honestly. Like I wasn't speaking to anyone specifically, just kind of like more so blanket. But nothing that you're saying, nothing like more so just kind of overemphasizing like the lack of trust in a lot of things. Yeah. Like at that point. But then from there, I'm kind of just like talking to the competition, like hey, like outside of all of that, like, hey, yo, who am I competing with? Because the bars is fire. Right. And I will say, I was definitely in my bag when I wrote that. But in real time, I knew it was fire. So, like, kind of, like, acknowledging that, too. Like, hey, I am kind of rapping crazy. Though.
Right. No, I mean, it definitely goes hard. I kind of love the ukulele element because the ukulele is so, like, soft. And then you're just, like, straight spitting some shit. But, yeah, no, nothing that you're saying, nothing that you're speaking. And then kind of tying into who do I compete with. It's, like, that is that distrustfulness and that uncertainty in the face of the darkness or like the demons or any kind of questioning of self. And then who do we compete with? Dude, we're constantly raised to believe we're in competition.
Yeah, no, that's real though.
That's real. Even if we're not in competition with others, we're in competition with ourselves, our expectations. Yeah. Okay, why you always tweaking?
Yeah, self-explanatory,
You asking yourself, why are you always tweaking?
So honestly, it can be interpreted in that way. Both in the sense of like, why are you tweaking? Like, why are you fucking up? Why are you? What's going on? Because also like a lot of what I say with demons, at least with this specific song, is like either self-destructive behaviors or behaviors that may not be like the best for myself. So it's like, why are you tweaking out doing that?
Right.
But also like, and this isn't more so just like if it relates, like if it's the target audience, but like. Sometimes you be tweaking off drugs, so it's like, hey, yo, why are you always doing that? Just kind of like if you can relate,
self-sabotaging.
But it still ties into that,
right,
you know? So, hey, why are you always tweaking?
Yeah, why are you always tweaking? Like, that's iconic. And, like, I love that you did kind of prominently keep that, the repetitiveness of that. It's like, yes. All your shit is weak. We do not believe it. God looked away. It's not a secret. I got the devil on my feet. I gotta stay away from people.
Yeah.
What?
Bars. I love that. That's my favorite part of this song. That's my favorite part of this song.
Meanwhile, you we're like comparing it to Long Nights, and you're like, man, I don't know. I feel like Long Nights is better.
Because I do like a lot of the bars on this one though.
No, Long Nights is really fucking good, but this one is also really good, dude.
Yeah, this one. So at the start of that, like with the all your shit is weak, just kind of still talking to the competition at that point.
Yeah.
All your shit is weak. We do not believe it. God looked away, it's not a secret. And obviously, like, just referencing, like, you know, the previous project.
Yeah, I was about to say.
You know?
I love that.
Just a little reference.
I
you know,
love those little Easter
something.
eggs and things.
Yeah. And then also, obviously, too, like, still fitting the, like, you know, the religious undertones. Like, okay, God looked away, it's not a secret.
Yeah.
And then I got the devil at my feet, in reference to even back to the demons line, where it's like some of those habits, too, can also hold you back. So like the personifying, exactly, like personifying it in that way of like, okay, it's literally at my feet, like pulling, like I feel shackled to it, you know, at that point. But like still acknowledging that it's like a bad thing, obviously, and referencing it as a devil at the feet. But
dude, and there's also like tons of different ways you could angle that also, because people also bow at the feet. So the devil could also be like kind of like trying to reach or like sympathize for you, or like, you know, get some kind of level of connectedness. That could also be it. See, I love symbolism. Symbolism that isn't, and like that's always the question, is like, is symbolism intentional or not? And it's all about finding it no matter what.
I knew you'd like this song.
Oh yeah. I know, because I had told you in our first podcast together like all of my favorite projects that you've done. Oh yeah, no, that's so good. I got the devil on my feet. I gotta stay away from people that fucking self-sabotaging, like distrustful, isolation.
You know?
Why do they always want to link? I'll go to heaven if it's cheaper. I died and resurrected a genius. Nice guy, but my flow the meanest.
Yeah, I love that part too.
Just sizzling, right?
Why do they always want to link? Good reference to the last line, because I'm also just very to myself. I don't really like hang out a lot, and it's nothing personal because it doesn't apply to like everyone in my life, obviously. But there's definitely certain people where it's like I definitely do like you. I do probably want to hang out with you at some point, but like when I have my free time, because I work a lot, so and me when I do have that free time, I might just need that to kind of unwind myself and just recover. And I like to do that alone. Right. You know, so some people don't always understand that.
Even in the spectrum of the song, it's a long night that you're staying up, all night. It's like, why do you want to link? I'm like struggling. Like, I got demons at my feet. Like, I don't want to link right now. Like, so, sorry.
Know, and then I'll go to heaven if it's cheaper. I've definitely dealt with like, you know, when it comes to like the mental health journey and whatnot, like I've definitely went through like darker periods of my life, for like, you know, periods where, and I wasn't even necessarily feeling that way when writing the song even, but just kind of pulling back to like, for that specific lyric, pulling back from the past and just kind of like channeling that time period where, you know, you may not necessarily feel like you want to be here. Right. You know, so with that line, it's like, hey, I'd rather do that, to be honest. Like, if you were feeling that way, I'm sure someone feeling that way might relate to that. Yeah. You know, in that sense. But then that's why, too, in the following line, I died and resurrected a genius. I feel like when I started doing psychedelics and just like, you know, experiencing like an eco-death experience and just kind of like going through all the darkness and the bullshit that comes with that, but then like the great shit that happens after the darkness and bullshit that comes with that.
Oh yeah, well, you know, like, and it's like, you know, it kind of sucks when you are in a fucking trench of darkness, when people go like, oh, you'll come out stronger, and you're like, oh, just like go away. Yeah. But it's so true, because you resurrect and you come back with that awareness and that knowledge.
Like I'm very much the same, but I also don't. I feel like during referencing 2020, like there was just like a lot going on personally, and just like, I don't know, I just went through like a lot of really dark experiences and stuff like that, but then coming out of that, and then like again between that, experimenting with psychedelics, getting more spiritual, like I definitely do feel like a different person entirely, and in a lot of ways I do feel like I did like died in a sense, and then
you know, and then came back resurrected, a genius, a nice guy, but with a flow that's the meanest.
Because I still am rapping pretty good on the song. Like you could tell, like as I was writing it, I was feeling myself like in the song.
As you should. But like, and we need to keep in mind, there's a beautiful little ukulele behind this.
This is a nice ukulele.
Like, so then we get back to the devil on the feet, walking on the blood of my people. I got the devil on my feet, walking on the blood of my people. Never been equal. You can be a leader or the sheep.
Yeah, because you know, obviously you have to acknowledge, like, at least anyone that's African American, like we are very much in a time where things still are not perfect and there's a lot of change that needs to happen. But obviously we also we're definitely also are lucky to have certain things and rights that we wouldn't have without the people before us.
Right.
Either though. So just kind of acknowledging that, like, you know, at the end of the day, like there were a lot of people that died on like the earth that we're still walking on right now to have it to where things are right now for my people.
Right.
You know? And that's why in the following lines, like shit's really never been equal. And if you believe, you can believe that or not, as far as like you can be the sheep and just believe whatever,
right?
Or you can be a leader and either do something about it, or you don't necessarily have to do something about it, but just be empowered or just have like your own original thought.
Yeah. Oh, it almost reads as a call to action.
Yeah.
And you're almost saying like, I got the devil on my feet, but I'm still out here doing this shit. Well, died and resurrected, whatever. So it's like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna be a leader or a sheep? So I like that element to it.
And I can't, like, because of how old it, like I don't know if there might have been something specific at the time that inspired it, but I think at the time I might have just like that might have just been what I was saying.
Oh yeah. No, but I like that. I like that it is kind of, it is a call to action of others and like an acknowledgement of your own shit as well, and then also the strong point of like the issue of what it feels to be oppressed and to have been targeted in the way, and then to acknowledge that, like, ooh, so strong.
Thank you.
So strong. The why you always tweaking.
Yeah.
That, I love that, dude.
It just, I don't know, it just felt right.
It's so good.
It just felt right.
It's so strong. I died and resurrected a genius. Nice guy, but my flow the meanest. I got the devil on my feet, walking on the blood of my people. So I like how that is a combination of a bunch of different lines in a different order.
Yeah.
I always love when artists or poets do that. That is one of my favorite things.
Yeah, it just felt right. I think maybe too just the repetitive nature of the song, like to bring some of the stuff from the first verse back, but then obviously not like you know, it's still its own separate verse, but it kind of started off with the familiarity.
Yeah, and it definitely does kick back into that point of like your awareness of your own process and your own improvement, and then going back to like, but you still have the devil on your feet and you're still walking on the blood of the people. So it almost does say that even after all of your, you know, your death and resurrection and your flow and your artistic expression, you're still dealing with the weight of all those.
Yeah, I'm still a human. You know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm the king of poison. Stay away from me. I'm the king of poison. Stay away from me.
So I'm glad you got to that part because I forgot those lyrics were still there. So before I decided, for anyone that heard, like if you were listening, there was that gap where I want to have a feature. That was part of the original second verse that I had.
Gotcha. Oh, and so this.
Yeah. And like from there, and you can even still read it if you'd like. Like from there, like I know that was definitely the more emotionally charged part of the song. Right. But then once I actually finished the song, and you like with context, you'll see like it didn't feel like it needed it at the time. To me, it didn't feel like it needed to have that much emotionally charged in this story because of how open worlded the first verse was.
Right. It does feel very like that part seems very almost self-loathing.
I was singing that part originally on that one. Yeah, I was singing that part. Yeah.
That might be fun. Do you sing often in like?
Sometimes. Yeah.
That's like a little hidden gem you got.
And even those lines too. Like I was trying to think of a creative way to be like, oh, I'm kind of toxic, or like that's how I felt at least at the time.
Right. You know, well, there was that element that there is definitely a feeling of that underneath where it's like not wanting to connect and like trying to isolate.
Yeah.
And like how you're fighting your demons, diving off the deep end, like. If the why you always tweaking is that if that is internalized, then you could kind of reflect it. So I can definitely see those elements where you could have played up on the self-loathing more had you kept that in. But by eliminating that, I also see that it strengthens the rest of it.
You know? Yeah.
But I do like that. So playing hide and seek with the money, my dreams can't stop till my life is complete. That was also cut.
So that was also cut, but I
Yeah.
didn't want it like at the time. If I kept the other ones, I just wanted to contrast and then also kind of like show, like, okay, that stuff is that stuff, but then this was the conclusion of it all. Like,
Yeah.
it's still, you know, it still ends with like a nice ending, like
Yeah.
type of vibe, or at least like there is an intention of it.
I
having a
kind of
nice
love
ending,
that,
yeah.
playing hide and seek with the money, my dreams. If you don't, like, if you do keep this as it is, you should put that into something else.
I might
'cause
still add it. I might still add it. You never know.
I'm
It's
kind of,
unfinished.
I kind of like that shit. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts for this song? What are you, now you said there's a feature.
Yeah, so I have an exciting feature, and I have a feeling, so he knows the direction of everything I'm going at, even with like the lyrics, how we were talking about it. So I'm sure that's definitely gonna be a great addition. But from there are some background vocals that aren't super prominent as well on this song that I might also boost up a little bit.
Okay.
Just to add like a little bit of the melodic element there, but I also partially kind of like how stripped back it is too.
Yeah.
So who knows, you know?
I love the symbolism that you carry through a lot of your music.
Thank you.
With a lot of the struggles within and the struggles without, and then naming them demons. Like, I love that. That is like that's something I feel within myself, and so I love that, and that's always like my favorite songs of yours. Like,
Yeah, I just be one of them, people, I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. You know?
yeah.
Whether you call them demons, whether you call them
shadows,
vices or shadow, like,
yeah,
you know,
the
anything.
sins,
yeah.
whatever. Yeah, we all have that darkness. I'm excited. So do you have any music video plans for this? Or should I?
Not any at the moment, but hey, you never know.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
You never know.
What?
I do like the song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I love it. I love it. The ukulele was such a good choice.
Thank you.
It's like, it really just like balances it out and just like makes it so light on the palate. And then it's like reading the lyrics, it's like, whew.
Yeah, I like it too because it also makes because the lyrics themselves can definitely be very it could be very depressing over like a different kind of beat, but it does, I feel like, make it just more relatable in a sense versus without it being like, oh man, now I'm feeling this way too.
Yeah,
like, you can just
he's in his bag and he brought me in it.
You know, like
yeah, no,
so.
it definitely, and like I do think there is like a slight call of action of like empowerment and like self-awareness that I really like. So
Yeah, thank you.
very cool. Where can people find this song?
So if and when out, they can find this song and all of my other songs on all platforms. Oryah, Oryah. You can also go to my website, www.oryah.info. From there, we got tons of content. You know, I'm a one-man army, just making it work, and it's been fun. It's been really fun.
Oryah, thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, this was a good talk. You know, I was happy to be back on the platform as mentioned. You know, and looking forward to see what things come in the future for you. And I'll definitely be back if you guys are welcome to have me back.
Oh, always, Oryah, you are a fan favorite. We love you here. You can come and talk about all your intentions. And speaking of that, what you said last time that your intention was going to be balance. So now that you said that you have found some balance, what would you say the next few months intention is for you?
I would say now the new intention is not necessarily consistency, but maintenance.
I like that. Maintaining.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, you have to be willing to accept that the balance is gonna slip.
Right.
But it's just like a car. Like, when you get a car, you get a new car, it doesn't have too many miles on it. You still have a lot of experience to go with the car itself. But if you're not tuning it up or getting the oil changed or checking the tire pressure and all that stuff, it'll slip up more often.
Right.
So at least, from there, if you're maintaining, like, in the sense of if it's balanced, if you're, taking care of the little things, it's still going to happen, but at least you might either be more prepared or it might not be that bad or just less often, like, at least,
That is beautiful. I like that. I can't wait. Next time you come on, we're gonna find out what's after that.
Yeah, we'll see what. Yeah,
we're on this
maybe I'm
process
just
with
like
you.
completely off. Who knows? Like,
What would be after
who knows?
me?
Like,
You'll be like, actually, we're going
like
back
everything
to balance.
just Like,
No, I cannot wait for all these amazing things you have. Guys, please check out Oryah online. You can also find WAV.MAX. All his links are going to be posted. And please keep up with his music, his Yaman the Shaman series.
Thank you.
He has amazing things coming out. And you guys, thank you so much for listening and watching today. You are worthy of love and you are deserving of effort. And you deserve to create the life that you exist for.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.